Subject, immediate termination. Those are the three words that just ended a 20-year reality TV dynasty. We have obtained exclusive access to a leaked internal email chain from TLC headquarters and Discovery Communications that confirms what we have all suspected for months. CARYN Chandler is out. But it is not just that she was fired that changes everything. It is the specific, terrifying reason why. It was not just the drama with Amy Roloff, and it was not the fan backlash. It was a breach of contract so severe that network lawyers had to step in immediately to protect the corporation. Matt Roloff reportedly issued an ultimatum to the executives, stating clearly that if she goes, I go. And TLC's alleged response was a simple goodbye. Tonight, we are reading the email that Matt Roloff prayed you would never see, and we are exposing the secret legal battle that destroyed the future of Roloff Farms. Before we open the file and show you the exact clause that took CARYN down, I need you to do one thing for me. We are risking a lot to bring you these documents and this insider information. If you want to support independent reporting and keep getting the truth about little people, big world, smash that like button right now. Let's aim for 5,000 likes on this video to show TLC that we are watching. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell. You do not want to miss the updates coming this week because this story is evolving by the hour. Now, let's get into the document. The information comes to us from an anonymous source, allegedly a former production assistant who worked closely with the Roloff family during the filming of the last 2 seasons. This source claims they were the victim of a hostile work environment created specifically by CARYN Chandler's increasing demands and verbal aggression on set. But this whistleblower didn't just leave with a grudge. They left with digital receipts. The email in question is dated just 3 days ago and is marked with a high priority red flag from the legal department of Discovery. The subject line reads, termination notice regarding talent contract C. Chandler, reference clause 14B. For those of you who don't speak entertainment lawyer, clause 14B is what is known in the industry as the moral turpitude clause. This is the nuclear option for television networks. Every reality star signs a contract that includes this clause, but it is almost never invoked unless the network is terrified of a massive lawsuit. Moral turpitude is defined legally as conduct that is considered contrary to community standards of justice, honesty, or good morals. It implies something much darker than just being mean to Amy or selling the farm. It implies potential criminality or fraud. The email goes on to detail why this clause was triggered. It references a pending criminal investigation in Arizona. This is the bombshell. For years, fans have wondered what CARYN does in Arizona and why she is so protective of her time there. According to this leaked correspondence, there is a legal situation involving CARYN regarding financial discrepancies that she failed to disclose to the network during her last contract renewal. In the world of reality TV insurance, this is the kiss of death. The network states explicitly in the email that they can no longer insure CARYN Chandler as a talent on the show. She has become a liability. The email states that if she appears on camera and these Arizona allegations are proven true, Discovery could be sued as an accomplice for giving her a platform. The language used by the executives is brutal and final. One senior vice president writes, quote, "We cannot risk the integrity of the franchise for a supporting cast member who concealed a legal firestorm. Cut ties immediately. Effective today, she is banned from all filming locations, and production is to cease all communication with her representatives," end quote. This confirms that CARYN didn't just get fired, she got erased. The network isn't trying to spin this as a retirement or a mutual decision to step back. They are treating her like a radioactive asset that needs to be contained before the news hits the mainstream press. What makes this even more explosive is the alleged cover-up. The insider source claims that Matt Roloff knew about the Arizona issue. The leaked documents suggest that Matt and CARYN tried to keep this lawsuit buried, hoping it would be settled out of court before the new season started filming. They gambled with the network's money and reputation, and they lost. The email chain suggests that TLC found out about the Arizona situation not from Matt, but from a third-party investigator. That betrayal is why the termination was so swift. It wasn't just a crime. It was a lie. When the email hit Matt Roloff's inbox, the reaction was reportedly catastrophic. We are told by sources close to the farm that Matt did not take this news with the calm, business-like demeanor he likes to project on camera. This brings us to the most desperate chapter of this saga, Matt's gamble. Usually when a network fires a spouse or partner, the main star tries to negotiate. They try to smooth things over. Matt Roloff did the opposite. He went on the attack. According to reports, less than 6 hours after the termination email was sent, Matt Roloff boarded a flight to Los Angeles. He didn't go alone. He went with his personal legal team, intending to storm the offices of the executives who signed off on CARYN's firing. But this wasn't a negotiation meeting. This was a blackmail attempt. Matt allegedly walked into that boardroom and slammed a hard drive onto the mahogany table. Witnesses claim Matt told the executives that if they fire CARYN, he will release damaging behind-the-scenes footage that he has been hoarding for years. This is where the story gets truly dark. Matt allegedly claimed that this hard drive contains evidence of the production crew cutting corners on safety protocols at Roloff Farms to save money. He threatened to expose the network for endangering the lives of his family and the public during pumpkin season if they didn't reinstate CARYN immediately. Matt's logic was simple. He believed he was the king of the show and that he could hold the entire network hostage. He shouted that there is no little people, big world without the patriarch and his partner. He tried to use his own children's legacy as leverage, willing to burn the show to the ground just to keep CARYN on the payroll. However, Matt made a critical error in judgment. He forgot that he was dealing with a billion-dollar media conglomerate, not a local zoning board. The executives he was shouting at didn't panic. They didn't offer CARYN her job back. Instead, they pressed record. In a twist that Matt never saw coming, the meeting room was wired for audio and video. Every threat Matt made, every attempt to extort the network by using supposed safety violations as a weapon, was captured in high-definition audio. The leaked email chain continues after this meeting took place. The tone shifts from professional concern to legal warfare. A follow-up email from the head of production reads, quote, Mr. Roloff's attempt to coerce the network regarding the employment of Ms. Chandler has been noted and forwarded to our legal counsel. We are adding attempted extortion to his file. Proceed with the cancellation of the current production schedule. We are done here, end quote. Matt went into that room thinking he was the godfather of reality TV, thinking he could bully the suits into submission. Instead, he handed them the perfect excuse to end the Matt and CARYN era forever. The network realized that not only is CARYN a liability because of her secret Arizona lawsuit, but Matt is now a direct threat to the company's operations. By threatening to release damaging footage, Matt broke the golden rule of television: you never bite the hand that feeds you. The source tells us that Matt left the Los Angeles office escorted by security. He didn't walk out with a new contract for CARYN. He walked out with his own career in tatters. The tragedy is that Matt was willing to sacrifice everything: the paychecks for his children, the legacy of the show, and the farm's promotional engine, all to protect a woman who had allegedly lied to him and the network about her legal troubles. As Matt was flying back to Oregon, fuming and plotting his next move, he had no idea that the ground had already shifted beneath his feet. While he was screaming in a boardroom in Los Angeles, a very different conversation was happening in a quiet restaurant in Portland. This is where the story pivots from a tragedy for Matt to a victory for someone else. While Matt was playing checkers, Chris Merrick was playing three-dimensional chess. It turns out Chris and Amy were not sitting at home waiting for the axe to fall. They were proactive. Chris Marek, with his background in real estate and sales, has always been the quiet observer. He has been watching the ratings. He has been analyzing the comments section. He knows what the data says. The data says that the audience is tired of the toxicity. They are tired of the farm wars. They are tired of CARYN interfering in family business. But the audience loves Amy's second act. They love seeing her happy, traveling, and cooking. So while Matt was busy self-destructing in LA, Chris Marek set up a lunch meeting with the regional head of development for the network. He didn't come with threats. He didn't come with blackmail. He came with a pitch deck. The proposal was simple but brilliant, a rebranding of the franchise. Chris proposed a spinoff that effectively cuts Matt and CARYN out of the equation entirely. He pitched a show focused on the heart of the family, Amy, the grandkids, and the drama-free life they are building away from the toxicity of the farm. We have reports that Chris brought printed analytics to this lunch. He showed the executives the dip in viewership minute by minute whenever Matt and CARYN start arguing, and the spike in engagement whenever Amy is on screen with the grandchildren. He argued that the liability isn't the show. The liability is the Roloff farm drama. He offered the network a solution to their Matt problem. If Matt wants to leave, let him. If Matt wants to burn the bridge, let it burn. Amy and Chris are ready to carry the torch. The rumor swirling around the production offices in Portland is that a deal was essentially agreed upon right there at the table. It wasn't signed in blood. It was signed on a napkin. The network was looking for a way out of the Matt Roloff hostage situation, and Chris Marek handed them the key. This spinoff deal ensures that Amy secures her financial future and her legacy on television, all while Matt is left holding the bag for CARYN's secrets. But the reality of this firing didn't truly hit until the crew arrived at the farm. This brings us to the confrontation that happened just yesterday. We need to talk about the physical dismantling of the set, because this is the image that signifies the end of an era. Usually, when a season wraps, there is a wrap party. There are hugs, there is cake. This time, there were security guards. Production trucks rolled onto Roloff Farms at 8:00 a.m., but they weren't there to film confessionals. They were there to strip the equipment. We are talking about the lighting rigs in the big house, the soundproofing in the interview rooms, and the permanent cameras installed around the property. Matt Roloff watched from his porch as the infrastructure of his fame was loaded into cargo vans. But the most humiliating part was the security detail. The production company allegedly hired private security specifically to ensure that CARYN Chandler did not step foot near the crew. Because of the hostile work environment claims and the active investigation, the network has a zero-tolerance policy. They could not risk a confrontation between CARYN and the staff she allegedly abused. So you have this surreal scene where Matt is watching his TV empire be disassembled, and his partner is effectively under house arrest, banned from approaching the people who used to film her daily life. Matt reportedly tried to intervene. He drove his mule down to the staging area and started arguing with the showrunner, a man he has worked with for over a decade. Witnesses say Matt was pointing at the dwarfism world structures, the castle, the western town, screaming, "I made you. I built this. You are nothing without this farm." But the crew just kept packing. They had their orders from corporate. The email had been sent. The decision was final. The silence that followed as the last truck drove away must have been deafening. For the first time in 20 years, the cameras were gone, and they weren't coming back from Matt. This leads us to the fallout we are seeing today. TLC released a statement that was intentionally vague. They said, quote, "We have decided to pause production on Little People, Big World to evaluate future creative directions," end quote. Now, if you know anything about PR speak, you know that you do not pause a hit show that has been running for 2 decades unless something catastrophic has happened behind the scenes. You pause a show when the main cast member is toxic. You pause a show when legal determination that the risk outweighs the reward. While Matt is likely consulting with crisis management teams and trying to figure out how to pay for the farm without the TLC paycheck, Amy is taking a victory lap. Just hours after the crew left the farm, Amy posted a photo on Instagram. It was her and Chris sitting on their patio, toasting with 2 glasses of wine. The caption was just 2 words, "New beginnings." She didn't mention Matt. She didn't mention the firing. She didn't have to. The smile on her face said it all. She knows she won the war. She played the long game. She kept her hands clean. And she let Matt and CARYN destroy themselves with their own secrets and greed. We are witnessing the absolute destruction of a reality TV titan, brought down by a leaked email and a clause that nobody thought would ever be used. But the question remains, what exactly is in those Arizona police reports? The email mentioned financial discrepancies, but I have a lead on the actual case number. I am currently working with my source to get the full police report from Arizona that Matt tried so hard to hide. I am going to track this down for the next video. If you want to see the actual documents that got CARYN fired and see the proof of what she was hiding in Arizona, I need you to help me out. Let's get this video to 20,000 likes. If we hit that goal, I will release the case file in the next update. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Should TLC bring back the show with just Amy and Chris, or is the show dead without Matt? Tell me what you think below. This is just the beginning of the end for Roloff Farms. Stay tuned. You guys absolutely crushed the goal on the last video. We asked for 20,000 likes to release the Arizona files, and you delivered in less than 24 hours. That tells me one thing: the fans are done with the lies. You want the truth about why CARYN Chandler was really fired and what Matt Roloff is frantically trying to hide. Today, we aren't just speculating. Today, we are opening the case file. We have obtained copies of the documents referenced in that termination email. These documents shed light on the so-called moral turpitude that caused TLC to sever ties with a 20-year franchise overnight. For years, viewers have pointed out that the timeline of Matt and CARYN's relationship never added up. But the financial timeline is even shadier. The documents we have uncovered point to an investigation involving a senior living investment group based in Maricopa County, Arizona. According to these insider reports, which are currently circulating among production staff, CARYN was allegedly listed as a managing partner in a real estate venture that promised high-yield returns for retirees. The allegations suggest that funds meant for property development were misappropriated. Now, why does this matter to TLC? Because the leaked internal memo suggests that some of the money used to renovate the new house on Roloff Farms may have been commingled with these disputed funds. This is the smoking gun. If Matt Roloff, unknowingly or knowingly, used funds from CARYN's alleged gray area business dealings to build his dream home on the farm, the entire property becomes part of a legal investigation. This explains why TLC lawyers pulled the plug. If the farm is seized or frozen as an asset in a fraud investigation, they cannot film there. The set of the show is effectively a crime scene. This revelation completely recontextualizes the feud between Matt and his son, Zach. For the last 2 years, we have been told that Zach and Tori moved to Washington because they couldn't agree on a price for the farm. We were told Matt wanted too much money. But a source close to Zach Roloff tells a very different story today. The source claims that Zach didn't walk away because of the price tag. He walked away because he saw the books. Allegedly, during the negotiation process, Zach's financial advisors flagged irregularities in the farm's operating budget. They supposedly found connections to CARYN's Arizona accounts that didn't make sense. Zach, being a father of three, decided he could not tie his family's financial future to an asset that was legally compromised. He wasn't being stubborn, he was protecting his children from the fallout that is happening right now. When Matt accused Zach of being incompetent or lazy, he was projecting. Zach knew the ship was sinking, and he got off before it went under. This also explains the silence. Notice how Zach and Tori haven't said a word in defense of Matt. Usually, in a family crisis, there is a united front, but the silence from Washington is deafening. It implies that they have been waiting for this shoe to drop. Sources say Zach feels vindicated. He took a lot of heat from fans for abandoning the legacy, but now it looks like he was the only one with the foresight to see the disaster coming. But the drama doesn't stop with Zach. We have received reports that Jeremy and Audrey Roloff are suddenly very interested in the farm again. With Matt's reputation in tatters and CARYN out of the picture, the golden child Jeremy reportedly sees an opening. However, the network is not biting. The executives are done with the Roloff name attached to Matt. The brand is toxic. Let's talk about the money, because this is where the reality of the situation gets scary for Matt. The loss of the TLC contract isn't just a loss of income, it's a trigger for debt. We have learned that the loan Matt took out to buy Amy's half of the farm was structured based on his projected income from the show. It's a common practice in the industry. You borrow against your future contracts. With the contract voided due to the moral clause violation, the bank can allegedly call in that loan. Matt Roloff is reportedly facing a liquidity crisis. He has a massive mortgage, a half-finished dream house that might be funded with tainted money, and no show to pay for it. The insiders are whispering the F word around the farm: foreclosure. It is a very real possibility that the big house, the castle, and the pumpkin patch could be on the auction block within 6 months. While Matt is scrambling to liquidate assets, you may have noticed he is suddenly selling off heavy machinery and old props online. Chris, Mark, and Amy are moving forward at light speed. We teased the spinoff in the last video, but we have new details on the format. The network doesn't want a Little People, Big World continuation. They want a complete rebrand. The proposed title floating around the development office is Amy's Second Act. The concept is brilliant in its simplicity. It focuses on Amy's cooking empire, her travel with Chris, and most importantly, her role as the grandmother. It's wholesome, it's safe, it's everything the advertisers want. And here is the kicker. Chris Marek has allegedly negotiated a clause that bans the mention of Matt's name on the show. They are erasing him from the narrative. This is the ultimate revenge. Amy isn't just winning, she is replacing him. The audience retention numbers prove that people tune in for the kids and for Amy. Matt's antagonistic editing has finally caught up with him. So where does Matt go from here? He is cornered. We have heard rumors that he is trying to pitch a show to rival networks, specifically targeting streaming services like Netflix or Peacock. His pitch is reportedly a redemption arc, a docu-series about saving the farm against all odds. But Hollywood talks. The moral turpitude firing is a red flag that no insurance company will touch. He is effectively blacklisted. The most tragic part of this story is CARYN's role in all of this. She came into the family as a farm manager. She worked her way into the heart of the patriarch. She drove a wedge between the father and his sons. And now her past has detonated the entire legacy. Reports say that Matt and CARYN are isolating themselves in the Arizona home, the very home at the center of the controversy. Tensions are reportedly high. Matt effectively destroyed his relationship with his children for a woman who cost him his career. We are watching the Greek tragedy of reality TV. A man who wanted control over everything has lost control of the only thing that mattered. The gates of Roloff farms are closed, the cameras are gone, and the bank notices are in the mail. There is one more piece of evidence we are tracking down. We've heard about a recorded phone call between Matt and Jeremy from the night the firing happened. Allegedly, Matt asked Jeremy to issue a public statement supporting CARYN, and Jeremy refused, hanging up the phone. If we can get a transcript of that call, it will prove once and for all that the family has completely fractured. I am working with my source to verify the transcript. This story is far from over. The legal battles are just beginning. If you want to see the rise of Amy's new empire and the fall of Matt's kingdom, make sure you are subscribed. We are going to be following the money trail all the way to the auction block. Leave a comment below. Do you think Zach should buy the farm at the foreclosure auction and kick Matt off? Or should the whole place be sold to strangers? Let me know your theory, and don't forget to like this video to keep the algorithm pushing the truth. I'll see you in the next update. We are back with the final heartbreaking update on the collapse of the Roloff dynasty. If you have been following this series, you know we promised to uncover the truth about the family's reaction to Matt's termination. We promised you the transcript of the phone call that ended the relationship between Matt and his son, Jeremy. We have verified the contents of this call through a secondary source close to the family's PR team. And what I am about to read to you confirms that the Roloff family is not just fractured, it is shattered beyond repair. The call took place late Tuesday night, just hours after TLC security escorted Matt off the premises in Los Angeles. Matt Roloff, desperate and running out of options, called Jeremy. He wasn't calling to apologize, he was calling to recruit him. According to the transcript, Matt told Jeremy that the liberal media and corporate snakes were trying to steal the farm. He asked Jeremy to post a video on his massive social media platform vouching for CARYN's character. Matt specifically asked Jeremy to say that CARYN was a victim of a misunderstanding. Jeremy's response was brief and brutal. He allegedly told his father, "Dad, we saw the police reports. You chose her over the farm. You chose her over Zach. Do not drag my family into your mess." Then the line went dead. That click you hear? That is the sound of the Roloff legacy officially dying. Jeremy, who has spent years distancing himself from the show, refused to throw a lifeline to the man who started it all. He knows that associating with Matt right now is brand suicide. With no allies left in the family, Matt has been forced to make the move everyone feared. Yesterday morning, a distress sale listing appeared on a private real estate server used by high net worth investors in Oregon. It wasn't the $4 million listing we saw last year. This is an emergency liquidation listing. The price has been slashed by nearly 40%. The listing includes the main house, the pool, and the wedding barn. The description ominously states, "Sold as is, immediate cash buyers only." This signals one thing. The banks are moving in. Without the TLC production contract to guarantee the mortgage payments, Matt cannot afford the upkeep of that massive estate. The moral turpitude clause didn't just kill the show, it triggered a default clause in his financing. We are looking at a potential foreclosure auction within 90 days if a buyer isn't found. The saddest image to come out of this week is a drone shot leaked by a neighbor. It shows the famous western town, once filled with children and cameras, now overgrown with weeds, with a blue tarp covering the roof of the church. It is a ghost town. But while the farm is dying, a new empire is rising in Portland. We have received exclusive details on the pilot episode of the spinoff that Chris Merrick negotiated. The working title has changed to Roloff Family: The Next Chapter. The pilot episode was filmed secretly over the last 2 weeks, and the tone is completely different. There is no yelling. There are no tense negotiations. The pilot opens with Amy hosting a Sunday dinner. And guess who was at the table? Zach, Tori, and the grandkids. And in a shock appearance, Even Jacob Roloff, the son who swore off television, is seen in the background playing with Jackson. This is the masterstroke. The children didn't hate the cameras, they hated the toxicity of filming with Matt and CARYN. With those two gone, the family has reunited under Amy's roof. The network executives reportedly gave the pilot a standing ovation. They realized they don't need the farm to make a hit show. They just needed the heart of the family. CARYN Chandler, meanwhile, has gone dark. Her social media accounts have been deactivated. The Arizona lawsuit mentioned in the first video is heating up, and sources say she is currently consulting with criminal defense attorneys rather than entertainment lawyers. Matt is reportedly isolated in the Arizona home, trying to manage the fire sale of the Oregon farm remotely. He is a captain without a ship, a king without a castle. The tragedy of Matt Roloff is that he always said he was doing it for the legacy. He wanted to build something that would last for generations, but in his pursuit of control and money, he alienated the very generations he was building it for. The farm will likely be sold to a stranger, perhaps a developer who will bulldoze the castle to build condos. The physical legacy will be erased. But the emotional legacy survives through Amy. She walked away with nothing but her dignity, and she ended up with everything: the show, the kids, and the peace of mind. As we close the book on this saga, we are left with a powerful lesson about greed and loyalty. Matt thought he was the star, but he was just the villain in Amy's hero journey. This is the end of Little People Big World as we knew it, but it is the beginning of something better. We will be covering the launch of Amy's new show the second the trailer drops. We will also be live streaming the auction of Roloff Farms if it goes to the courthouse steps. You do not want to miss that. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive investigation. If you appreciate the risk we took to bring you these leaked emails and transcripts, please hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with every LPBW fan you know, because the mainstream media is too afraid to tell this story. The era of Matt is over. The era of Amy has begun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter.